It doesn't surprise me that in a space littered with ignorance, intellectual dishonesty, and at times blind faith, we've witnessed so many collapses in the last 90 days. Despite this, so many quote-unquote blockchain enthusiasts are so far down the status quo rabbit hole, they seem no longer able to conduct any level of critical thinking. But this problem goes way deeper than your average blockchain enthusiast, crypto media outlet, or venture capitalist narrative. This ignorance stems all the way through to even the most established crypto research firms, who have made it a profession to publish accurate reporting on blockchain's technological advancements. Yet still they omit Cardano and fail to acknowledge it has already solved many of the problems that the first movers have yet to even scratch the surface of. Society often has the habit of mocking those that are different, but it seems so obvious to me that the blockchain which focuses greatly on the scientific, academic, peer-reviewed approach would be the one who stands the greatest chance of succeeding. If ever there was a better time to get educated on Cardano and carry out some objective research, it's now. It won't be long before they realise the fact that Cardano and its approach differs greatly from other blockchains isn't a flaw, but by design. Welcome back for today's instalment of Cardano Insights, delivering a fast-paced, bite-sized roundup of the all-important Cardano news and ecosystem content from the past 24 hours. So join me as I explore exactly what's been happening at the very pulse of Cardano. So let's get straight into it. So right now in Cardano, amongst all the tech rollouts and developments being undertaken by IOG for the Vassal upgrade, and the wider developer community readying and building out their dApps, the anticipation for Vassal is certainly rising, and for good reason. It's going to mark the beginning of a new era of capabilities that will fuel an explosion of growth and activity across the ecosystem. Sometimes we can all be a little guilty of beating the when Vassal drum, but I think it's important to take a step back and appreciate the amount of work going into an upgrade like this. Lucky for us, there are a number of great resources out there that enable you to keep track and gain a better understanding of what the team at IOG are working on right now. Each week they release a weekly development report published on the Essential Cardano website. So let's take a look. So in terms of the core technology, last week the Node, Ledger and Consensus teams worked on the up-and-coming release of Node version 1.35.2. This version will bring improvements and bug fixes found in the previous Node versions during the Vassal testing. If you remember, we've been tracking some of these on GitHub, so this is quite promising. In terms of the Vassal mainnet timing, I guess it'll all depend on whether or not this version 1.35.2 is deemed acceptable to hard fork, otherwise it may require version 1.35.3. The teams continue testing Vassal functionality, working closely with dApps and projects building on Cardano. The Plutus version 2 cost model was temporarily removed from the Cardano testnet, while a potential issue raised by the community was properly investigated. Plutus version 2 testing has instead continued using the Vassal DevNet. The version 2 cost model will be restored to the Cardano testnet at the turn of the next testnet epoch on Saturday, which just passed. They also provided this update that the networking team continued working on the Gossip and Eclipse evasion design. This refers to the work surrounding peer-to-peer. They finished deployment automation of the networking mainnet and testnet nodes and continue working on diffusion simulation and dynamic block production. Now to wallets and services. Last week, the Daedalus team fixed an issue related to funds delegation that occurred if the wallet was not fully synced. They also worked on the Lace desktop application by setting up the required libraries for Electron end-to-end testing. The team made progress mapping the address property of the observable wallet instance provided by Cardano JavaScript SDK with the data from the Cardano wallet backend. In addition, they also integrated Chromatic into the CI process and set up the required linters for checking the code quality. The team continues investigating a new code structure to enable the Lace desktop and browser apps to reuse code between repositories. Finally, they added a Cardano node sync status and Chrome DevTools to the Lace application so that developers can easily track and debug variables. Next to the Address-tier team, who are responsible for delivering a consistent integration experience so that developers and exchanges know what to expect between Cardano roadmap releases, they prepared the Address-tier components for the up-and-coming Vassal hard fork. Specifically, they're working on the Cardano JavaScript SDK to get it production ready, and finishing the implementation of the HTTP API on top of DB-Sync. They also resumed work on the multisig feature for Cardano Wallet. In terms of smart contracts, last week the Plutus team worked on improving the ledger interoperability around new cost models, and on the debugging experience for script authors. They also released Plutus Apps version 0.10, worked on updating Plutus contract emulator to support Babbage transactions, and progressed on the PAB memory usage improvements when syncing with mainnet and testnet environments. Finally, they continue working on testing and documentation improvements. In addition, the Marlowe team investigated database migration tools, created a detailed DB schema for Marlowe Chain Index, and wrote a filtered chain sync protocol specification. Now for Basho relating to scaling, last week the Hydra team updated a bought transaction to enable the use of reference scripts. They're now working on testing, configuration and tooling addition. The team created a semi-automated smoke test and successfully ran it in the Vassal testnet and devnet environments. Finally, they continue working on documentation improvements and bug fixes. And finally to governance, they gave us this update and maybe serving as a little reminder, as Project Catalyst entered its final QA stage, where the veteran proposal assessors will review all assessments and any flags raised during the early QA stage. Project Catalyst has had over 1,000 proposals submitted for community consideration in Fund 9. Voting starts on August 11th and will run for 2 weeks up until August 24th. So that's a recap of what's been going on behind the scenes as we edge closer to the Vassal upgrade. This is only a brief rundown, and this short segment really doesn't do it justice when you really break down the work that's actually been undertaken in each item. Hopefully more will be revealed this week in the Cardano 360 update, but remember you too can track the progress every Friday by checking the development updates at Essential Cardano, linked in the description below. Now to something that in recent weeks has really caught my interest. Whilst there's much excitement across the entire community for the imminent introduction of JED's algorithmic stablecoin, like all DeFi ecosystems, for them to thrive we need multiple options or solutions when it comes to stablecoins. Introducing Mehen Finance with MUSD, which is going to be a one-to-one fiat-backed, directly convertible stablecoin built for and by the Cardano community. Mehen will issue and redeem USDM one-to-one for USD, because every on-chain USDM token will be backed by $1 in an account at a US bank. Individuals who would like to mint or redeem USDM will need to go through normal identity verification checks and connect a Cardano wallet to the Mehen dApp. Once connected, they'll be able to send USD and Mehen will mint USDM into the connected wallet. The same process also works in reverse. Individuals send USDM to their identity verified wallet. From there they can initialize a burn transaction to receive USD in the connected bank account. With the development of multiple bridges from the Ethereum blockchain, non-Cardano native stablecoins are being bridged to Cardano. Unfortunately, the bridges can be costly, and to redeem the bridge version of the token back to fiat, it needs to go back across the bridge, costing additional transaction fees. Since USDM is being built as a Cardano native asset, it will be transferable, versatile, and reliably compatible with smart contract applications and the broad Cardano DeFi ecosystem. In effect, Mehen Finance aims to bring a direct fiat on and off ramp to Cardano with a fiat-based USD stablecoin. This means you can obtain ADA through MUSD without having to go through centralized exchanges, and in turn have an off-ramp solution to convert MUSD back to fiat currency. In order for this to be made possible, there are many licensing requirements that need to be completed to enable it to be burned or minted across different territories. Mehen is currently seeking money transmitter licenses in a variety of US states, and is also working with partners in the UK and EU to facilitate licensing in those jurisdictions. Now you may be thinking, isn't submitting to regulations seemingly very anti-crypto? Well, I think they make a great point on their website. They state, think of Mehen as a bridge to another system. Building bridges to Ergo or Ethereum isn't anti-Cardano. It enhances the usability of both chains and expands the ecosystem's possibilities. Bridges need to be compatible with both chains, so if we're to build a direct bridge to fiat money, we need to be compatible on both sides of the bridge. And if operating openly before the law is part of that compatibility, we're happy to do that. Mehen Finance currently have 3 proposals for Catalyst Fund 9, the main proposal for the fiat-backed stablecoin, Proposal 2 for onboarding assistance, and Proposal 3, which covers state regulatory fees. If you want to learn more, I've linked the site, Catalyst proposals and white paper in the description below. This is a very new project, and in my opinion an exciting one that bridges legacy financial systems to the Cardano blockchain. I'd recommend doing some research, and if you like what you see, give them a follow to keep track of progress, and maybe even show some support to their Catalyst proposals. Now for all the World Mobile enthusiasts, I'm not sure how I've missed this, but I thought it might be a good idea to bring it to your attention also. World Mobile published a deployment diary which gives a great high-level overview of their monthly operations progress. I think this is a great resource for us as a community to keep track and gain a better understanding of the sheer amount of work, effort and progress that's being delivered by World Mobile on a truly global scale. The diary covers everything from the teams that are responsible for market access, supply chain, regulations, country rollout and the blue economy. Specifically, what was interesting for me was the updates provided relating to the country rollout. In July's update, you'll see great progress in Zanzibar, Nigeria, Kenya and Mozambique. They also provided some great insights to progress in the UK and USA relating to pilot deployments in several rural locations backhauled by Starlink, and ongoing discussions with mobile networks in those regions. I thought this really put some perspective on how much work is going on behind the scenes in order to connect the unconnected, and I've linked the deployment diary in the description for you to take a closer look. Finally, it's no secret that when it comes to development on Cardano, Milkomeda bring a lot to the table, with many brilliant Catalyst proposals already implemented. Check this out, which is a proposal that featured in Catalyst Fund A and is now a fully completed development. This proposal focused on the implementation for a Milkomeda Docker Fullnode setup. This is now available, is open source, and offers Fullnode infrastructure for the Milkomeda sidechain in a Docker solution. This can be used to run a node on the Milkomeda DevNet or Milkomeda mainchain, and enables developers to run their own nodes for their own dApps, no longer needing to rely on the previously existing centralized node services. The important thing to consider here is running their own node also contributes to the decentralization and strength of the network. The efforts of Sebastian and DC Spark definitely do not go unnoticed, and they're amongst some of the best contributors to the Cardano ecosystem. It's definitely worth, if you haven't already, giving these guys a follow to stay in the loop when it comes to development and infrastructure progress on Cardano. So that's it for another installment of Cardano Insights. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did find value in the content, please be sure to comment, share, like, and subscribe to the channel. A big thanks to everyone tuning in each weekday. It doesn't go unnoticed and really does help Sapien reach that wider audience to spread those positive Cardano vibes. We'll be back soon with your daily roundup, and until then, thanks for watching, have a great day, and as always, keep it Cardano.